Oh, hello everybody. It is Technovoid. We are back with another stream. I unfortunately might sound a little off tonight as I am feeling somewhat under the weather, some congestion, but I could not miss this stream because we are back with Dreamcore, and I am very excited for this demo. And there's a couple of reasons for that. For folks that have not either have not watched Dreamcore, have not seen this game at all, or have not watched my playthrough of the original Pool Rooms demo, this game, I think, has the potential to be potentially the best liminal space game on the market. Now, granted, that market is a lot smaller than like sort of the Backrooms demo, just because that obviously it has a lot of slop. If I'm being honest, that market. Whereas Dreamcore is definitely not that. It's much more so going for the haunting beauty of liminal spaces rather than the horror, the creature horror. I like to describe it as monster horror of sort of a lot of the Backrooms content. And I thought the Pool Rooms demo for Dreamcore, one of the things that the creator just absolutely nailed, probably better than any other game in the genre that I've seen, is the architecture. The way they sort of link rooms and the way they have each room sort of be discernible but unique, but like still it's very cohesive. That their Dream Pools was very cohesive while remaining engaging and feeling very realistic, I guess is a way to put it. Obviously part of it is it's not supposed to feel realistic, but it also sort of is, you know? And so I think they did a fantastic job with that. And also, so another thing is like, and I very much doubt I had a large part to play in this, but one of the issues I did have with the previous demo was the fact that there was a monster, and not just like, you know, like, obviously depending on the game, depending on the creator's vision, that might be appropriate. The way it was implemented in the Pool Rooms demo felt just poorly done to me. It felt tacked in at the end, like it wasn't part of the creator's vision, but they did it for the sake of having it in there and appeasing to a mass audience that it didn't feel like the game was for. The creator did actually respond to my comments on that, which was very nice to see. Thank you so much for that response. I hope my critique was in some way helpful to you just in general, but they actually did it. I was apparently right about the fact that the monster was tacked in at the last moment, which, you know, hey, cool. Good on me on connecting those dots. But they actually went apparently and changed the Dream Pools demo to no longer have it, and sort of they have since stated on their socials, like, this is not a game, this is going to be a game that really explores liminal spaces and not monster horror. And God, I think that's such a good thing. Not the liminal space, the Backrooms sort of fandom is very much like every internet fad. It is quickly dying. I mean, people are not talking about it nearly as much today as they were a year ago. Internet fandoms, they do this, you know, they rise and they fall with just extreme speed, ADBP normal type moves like that. And something like this, you stick to your guns and you make this sort of a piece of artwork that is not focused on making a buck on that fandom and riding that back, and you do something for the sake of that creative endeavor. And I think this is going to stand the test of time and really exist as a snapshot into what makes liminal spaces so special, even after the Backrooms dies out. And, you know, I mean, I guess SCPs haven't, but that's maybe it's like that. But even so, right, there were a lot of SCP games at one point, and now there really aren't. So that's the other thing. So I want to split up this stream. I want to play through this demo, and then I want to give my thoughts at the end again. Maybe the creator will see it again. If they do, I hope they find my comments and my critiques helpful. Because I'm really, really invested at this point in seeing this game do well and be everything it can be. Because I really think it could be one of the greats. The third reason I really wanted to play this tonight is specifically Eternal Suburbia. I like dream pools. The dream pools are cool. One of my favorite liminal aesthetics is the suburban neighborhood. It was very much something I grew up with. I lived in suburbia for a large part of my childhood. And so seeing that aesthetic really, really resonates with me. In fact, the famous Eternal Suburbia photo is my Discord banner. So ever since the creator announced that sort of the next level was going to be based on that, with the rolling hills and the houses and the water tower, I was like, yes, I cannot wait. So with that, I'm going to stop wasting time. If you're watching the VOD, I will have probably split this up into intro, gameplay, and then, I guess, what will I call it at the end? Like a review, I guess, sort of critique. I don't know. We'll see what we do. But let's get into it. Go wishlist this game on Steam if it seems like up your alley. I know I already have, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the creator does next. Being lost is the least of your problems. Patience and observation are key. And no face cam tonight, for two reasons. A, I'm sick, and B, I like for the liminal space games, I like having it just be the game. Just a voice alongside it, because don't want to ruin the immersion on that. This game does immersion really well, I feel. 643? A little bit less aggressive than last time when we fell onto concrete, so that's nice. Oh, that is wonderful. Oh, that is fantastic. Shift to run, control the crouch. I wonder if the running... Oh yeah, that bed, man. Oh man, I fucking have those bed sheets. So weird. I love it. I love it so much. This is great. Okay, so let's see, we can zoom in and out here. Oh, this is gonna be good. This is gonna be good. Let's see. Okay, so the running does still have that sound. I kind of found that annoying last time. I kind of understood why it was there. It does add to the realism. That being said, I think the game could potentially go... Okay, I can't really change the... Actually, can I change? Let's go under controls. Mouse sensitivity. I can turn that down a little bit. I think that might help slightly. Oh, yeah, okay. What is that? Oh, the graininess, just not being able to see exactly what you're looking at is very good. Okay, it looks like where the music is coming from. Light, okay. Oh yeah, this is immediately up my alley. I feel like... Oh, there's the water tower, the famous water tower. Love that thing. I feel like a lot of games don't really explore this particular genre of liminal space, so it is really exciting to see Montreleu's doing it. It's a huge favorite of mine. All right, well, let's got a couple different houses here. Obviously, whoa, what was that? Clipping, some clipping there. Is this another door outside? It sure is. What is going on there? Yeah, one of the real benefits, and something I'm wondering how much we'll see of in this, but in the pool rooms, as I mentioned, I think Montreleu's did a really, really good job with architecture. And here it's obviously not going to be It's going to be a little more muted because you are sort of limited to these smaller houses. But, you know, even outside, even though, you know, it's very simple, you look at this architecture, and it's very simple. You have these small houses, and then you have basically these swaths of land that cordon you in with these... God, these fucking rings so true, man. I used to live near some farmland, and it looked exactly like this. It's like, oh, the sun is going down. Is it gonna get dark? Do we have to find a flashlight again? The music stopped? Okay. But, I mean, it's like, it looks simple. It looks really simple looking at it. Just, like, architecture-wise, but, like, actually designing... Oh, shit, it is dark now. It's a little bit creepy. But it is actually very, I feel like, difficult to make this feel... Because you're essentially walking through a bunch of corridors, but it feels interesting. Okay, what is this? Feels very good. It looks like there's a hole of some sort in the clouds. Another door. And I mean, just great job with the houses here of, you know, them technically being houses, but not actually feeling like a house that anyone could possibly live inside of. So far, they have seemed to actually match. Like, they seem to all be possible within the context of the physical geometry. And I think on occasion, not doing that, on occasion having the mindfuck of it not, sort of not being proper geometry does make sense, but I do really appreciate it in general when they do. Because it just, I don't know, it makes it hit harder when they don't. You know, if everything, if the geometry never works, it kind of becomes almost like a second hand, like not a second hand, but like it doesn't feel cool anymore. So I do definitely appreciate, and you know, I do think the sound of the wind has been reduced significantly, which I do appreciate, because I think that was very annoying in the original. Let's see what we got here. It is definitely spookier at night. I like how every house does feel pretty unique. I mean, you only have a few things. You have, you know, the wallpaper changes. Oh, that's good. I do like this. This is a good liminal space. Yeah, I don't know. The obviously with the two-story houses, you're gonna have some limitations on how things are gonna be. And I am already detecting a bit of sameness in the houses. Okay, so is this possible? This might be possible. This one might be not quite there. Where is the water tower? It's over there. I do generally want to make my way over there. That feels like... I mean, if I was... And that's something I think that the Dreamcore does very well, is sort of... It does, ironically more so than most Backrooms games, makes you feel like you're actually in the Backrooms. Like, this feels so real in its ethereal way. And I'm thinking, you know, if I was, you know, I think it's level 94, I think, trying to get to that tower would definitely be my first goal if I was trying to survive. I don't know if this was intentional. I feel like it was. I feel like this definitely has to be intentional. But these, what are they called? Bars? The posts that all the things are coming out of, especially at nighttime, when you first see them, you definitely think you're looking at something else. The stillness of it all is like, oh shit, what is that, you know? And I think, and I'll talk more about my thoughts on the monster again at the end, but it's so much more effective that way. Okay, we got another door there. What do we have up here? Where is... Yeah, I feel like I've already seen this exact house layout already. The lamps are very nice. It would be potentially cool to get, like, a piece of misplaced furniture every once in a while. The lamps, I think, are a very nice touch. I think you could potentially do a bit more with that. Maybe they do. But I think you would just go the extra little mile. Because when you're going through the exact same thing over and over, and that is such an important part, I think, especially of Suburbia, is... It's like, again, I was like, what the fuck is that? Is the monotony of it. It's, you know, because that is what Suburbia is. Holy shit, that kind of spooked me for a sec. But breaking that monotony on occasion is also very, very important. The sun's coming back up. Ah, oh, that's nice. Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that I know that there is no creature in this game, it still, there is this level of unspoken dread to this whole thing that is just so effective. And I like that the music turns off at night. That is a nice touch. Very, very eerie. Okay, we are definitely getting closer. That's good. I don't know if this is the entire Eternal Suburbia level map, or if it's just a snippet of it. I mean, it looks fucking enormous and massive, so part of me thinks it's the whole thing, but it is a demo, so who really knows? We are getting closer to that one house lone on the hill. Gotta find our way up there. Really good sound design. I mean, obviously I've noted my points on the wind blowing. And there's a lot, like, I think the pool rooms had a lot of a lot to work with the sound design, because you had the marble sounds under your feet, and you had the water, so you had a lot of room there. But even in this, you have some really effective sound design with, like, getting closer and further away from these. And I feel like it's hard to do, because you are really limited in what kind of sounds you could have in this kind of level. So honestly, great work there. The house on top of the hill. Okay, how are we going to get over there? Obviously, if I was not in a game, I would just be able to jump this fence probably, but I would also have bigger problems if this was real. Okay, it looks like it leads from that house, so we might actually have to do a pretty significant loop. Because it doesn't look like anything from here is going to actually hit there. Can we go around that way, or are we kind of locked in here? We do appear to be kind of locked in here, so let's go this way. The dream pools, I think, just because of the type of layout, it was more easier to discern. This is a good house. I will say, like, honestly, there is a benefit to not having a second floor here. Most of them have had a second floor. Just having these extremely high ceilings, having those high windows, and just, like, these empty rooms. I like this. I like this a lot. Okay, yeah, we are definitely making our way around. That's good. But yeah, in the dream pools, obviously each of the rooms is going to be more recognizable, and that's how you find your way around. And that's not really as possible in this level because everything is so samey. Like, you're not really going to be able to remember what house you came from. But then you do have the benefit of it not being in an enclosure. Everything is outside. You can sort of path out from the outside, like which houses you need to pursue, which is nice. And I mean, I'm just going to the tower because, like, that... Ooh, yeah, not having the light in this room that's good. That's good, I like that. Good use of lighting there. So what is on the second floor here? Okay, so this definitely feels... No, that might still be possible. I'm not sure. I can't tell if that is... Okay, yeah. That is... It's possible the insides of these houses might be fully possible, which is really nice. I do like that. There's another door here. Oh? Where is our ending point? Oh, we're very close. I didn't realize we were so close. Looks like we are reaching nighttime again. That's sort of the go-to thing, you know? You see that big ol'... The one thing that is different in the whole thing. Okay, we're very close, so we have to... Yeah, alright, so we're generally going to try to be going this way. Looks like it should be possible. Another very good house. Sort of the 2 layers. Yeah, okay, pretty simple one. Pretty simple house. There, we are getting very close. Probably going to want to go out to that one. We should be able to loop around pretty easily, hopefully. I mean, I prefer the daytime. I think it has a nicer vibe to it, but there is something very haunting about this. And again, I mean, so much of what makes these spaces effective is sort of that, not even corruption is the wrong word, but that it's all based on your own memories, right? Like some liminal spaces aren't going to be effective for some people, and some aren't, just because they're not things that you experienced really. But as someone who, I mean, really grew up in an area that looked just eerily similar to this, it hits home really well. I think doing a great job with this aesthetic here. I do like the occasional dark room. It's spooky. And, you know, as long as a monster hasn't shown up, and I will talk about this, just I want to give so many props to the creator following the artistic vision here. But, you know, as long as a monster hasn't shown up, every time I enter one of these rooms, I don't know what could happen. But, like that sound, which was probably just me. Where the hell did the tower go? It's over there, okay. But yeah, as long as you hold that over my head, that there might be something, I can never, that tension is always gonna be there. But as soon as you use it, you've used it. You can't use it again. You shot your shot, as it were. Okay, we are... This might be the last house. Going through this house might take us exactly where we need to go. Very nice. Interesting. Okay. What do we have back here? A doorway? Another door? I think this is going to lead us where we need to go. Yeah, that seems to be the case. Yeah, this feels... Yeah, that's definitely going there. Cool. And let's check out this water tower, you know? And this is one of the things... God, I'm just sucking this game's dick, honestly, but... one of the things I always have wanted since discovering this sort of aesthetic is the ability to walk around in these worlds, go into the paintings, fucking Super Mario 64 style, not really, but just really experience for myself what all these pictures feel like, and this is doing a good job of that. It is... Oh, a key. Interesting. And a painting. Ooh, is that? Oh, okay, that's a door. There's a door out in a field that key probably goes to. All right. Fair enough. I thought that was like a sensor box, and I've seen, I think that the use of sensor boxes in some of the artwork I think is very fun. Definitely looks like that from far away. One of the benefits to the crappy camera. I I don't know. This feels a little too like, ooh, this is your next point. I think maybe a scrawled door on one of these might work slightly better, or maybe just having this picture a little bit further away from the key. As it feels, this feels very like, oh, you found point A, go find point B. That I think, I do get it. I do get it. To some degree, this is still a game, and you want to communicate effectively to the player what it is they need to do. So to avoid frustration, I can definitely see why a game like this might cause frustration to somebody who's. But at the same point, I'm making all these points about don't compromise your vision, and that's a thing, right? Like if your player isn't enjoying this for the sake of this, then like why are they playing it? That's all you're getting from this. This might be my favorite house yet. The carpet. This is good. You know what this feels like? This feels like a hotel almost. And this obviously doesn't. You get this banister in here. Now it's feeling more house-like, but I love the shadow moving slowly. Maybe like I really enjoyed the graffiti in the pool rooms. I keep going between calling it the pool rooms and the dream pools. But I think that was a really, really actually good use of sort of guiding the player without making it feel too obvious. Because I could see, if I was trapped in the back rooms, I could see other people who were similarly trapped also sort of scrawling shit on the walls. Not literal shit, hopefully, although I don't know what else you would really write with, so maybe. But that being said, it feels like a more natural way to interact with the player without actually having another entity break the immersion of the vibe. So I think it's nice. So, and I guess just showing a door, that could mean anything, right? Like, obviously a key goes to a door. What the hell else is a key gonna go to? Whereas that was, like, very specifically telling us it's a key to outside. And we did actually, I think, have a piece of graffiti on one of the walls earlier that showed, like, a hole in some clouds. So they kind of did already tell us that. But yeah, this world definitely feels a lot easier to navigate because you can, from outside, see the general path you want to be taking. Oh, it is dark in this house. No lights in this one, huh? Do 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 do. The music turn off, or I just get too far away from it? Unclear. Whoa, this is a weird one. That does not feel like a wallpaper to me. Unironically, I feel like some of these houses could use some more dead ends. Because as it stands right now, they are kind of all just twisting hallways. I think adding some dead ends into some of the houses could actually make them feel more, more liminal. Because that's part of the thing, right? Is it's like a creation that, imitates something that has use, but it doesn't. So, you know, just a empty room that doesn't lead anywhere, I feel like does that to some effect. It's another very weird, although I've seen this before. I've seen this kind of thing. Let's just, actually, well. Okay, so where are we even going? I'm looking for a door. Now, I've seen a lot of houses. I haven't seen too many doors, so there is that. I suppose that's what I should be on the lookout for, is a little sensor bar. It is going to be hard to find at night, though. If we're looking for a black door outside at nighttime, that's going to be tough. Nice. Yeah, I like that. This is a nice house. I like this one. This one's got vibes. Yeah, I think I prefer these single level ones to the 2-level ones. Having the really high ceiling, I feel like, adds a lot. Because that's exactly, that's one of those things where it's form over function. You are, like, no human ever needs that much ceiling space. And it's like, oh, look at this. It's a house? Question mark? It looks like one, so surely. We could go right out. What else do we have? Now I am curious, because all of these doors appear to be loading zones. Which makes sense, because if you're going to have a map that is this enormous, it makes sense to split it up into tinier loading zones. And that's definitely a smart way to do things. But I do wonder if the inside of the houses actually do all fit into these boxes, or if they're bigger. Because it's kind of hard to tell. Which isn't a bad thing, at all. Yeah, trying to find a fucking door right now, that's not going to be possible. I need daytime for that, I think. Yeah, you really can't, huh? Oh, okay, so there's a door there. There's a staircase up. Where would this lead? Is there another door down there? Huh. I wonder if we're gonna find a flashlight, because a flashlight could be very useful. We're kind of heading back in the way of the water tower, which is not where I want to be. I've already been there. Let's try this door here. That's it's a window pane. Okay, I was like, what the hell is going on here? Oh, you can kind of see stars if you zoom in. Huh. The quality is so low from far away that you can't actually see the stars, but you zoom in and they appear. That's really nice. And I'm gonna be honest, I was like thinking, you know, I'm gonna try, you know, obviously I'm gonna have some good things to say. I already know I'm gonna have some good things to say, but you know, I'm gonna try and be kind of nitpicky, because, you know, I think any good critique, you know, offers, you know, pain points and room for improvement, because if you only ever get critique that is purely positive, you're not actually gonna change anything. And nothing is ever perfect. So I think there is an important place for negative critique. I am racking my brain for negative things to say about this demo, and I have not really thought of any yet. So I might have some trouble thinking of something negative to say. This has been very well done. I mean, I feel like they even improved on the wind sound effect, which I took issue with before. Wow, that fucking is so bright. I like, this is a good room. This is a very good liminal room. That feels good. I like that a lot. And by good, I mean terrible. But, you know, that's the point, right? It kind of seems like the amount of houses is actually decreasing the further out we get from the water tower. It seems like near the center, you had a very, very high density of these homes, but as you get out to the outskirts, you're kind of seeing a lot less. Which is sort of giving you some idea as to how far from the center you are. Oh, we're getting the clouds back. Yippee! Turn on that music, baby. Turn on that music, white boy. Let's go. There it is. Is that a different song? I think that's a different song, potentially. It's very nice. Alright, let's see if we can spy any doors on the horizon. Doors? No, nothing. Do we have a window on this side, potentially? We do. It's a bit farther out. Can we get anything out of that? Nope. Nothing doing. This fucking pool-ass, bathroom-ass floor in my house. That don't make no sense. Okay, we kind of have a 360 view here. Really, ideally, what we should probably be doing is we should be finding a high point and then just scouring. And this is not a particularly high point. But, you know, it's not the bottom, so we might be able to find something on the horizon. Let's... Is that anything? And there's like a very large expanse over there with no houses whatsoever. And I swear I'm seeing some dot over there. Let's try... How would we get over there? That house would lead over there, potentially? That looks like it might go into that little area. But we kind of want to go out that way. How hard would that be? That kind of seems like what I want to check out next, because that's just a big expanse with no houses, which is somewhat curious, for sure. Though I don't think this house is going to take us where we want to go. This looks like it's going to go... Yeah, it's going to go that way, which is a whole different thing, potentially. Unless that is potentially... No, that looks like it could go out that way. That actually might not be a complete bust. Just one door in this house. The light coming through there. It's a nice touch. Potentially getting up on that hill also would be very good for finding something on the horizon. That house looks like it would take us up that way, but I am curious. Okay, so this loops back around, so I do want to go in here. Door over there. Door over here, too. This is a very long expanse. not seeing any doors. Do 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 do. Okay, well this is kind of exactly where I want it to be. In terms of being able to look out on the horizon and see if I can see anything. In fact, if we can get into the house and look through a window, we might even get a better view. Oh, is it about to be nighttime? No! While I do appreciate the nighttime, daytime, it becomes so hard to see things at night. There's the water tower. Alright, well, let's just go for it. I was really hoping to get a good scour in from this hill. That's good. You always love that. The unreachable balcony. That's always peak. Yeah, unfortunately there's not going to be anything found this way. It's a bit unfortunate, but I do understand it. Okay, wow, yeah, you can definitely see how much more concentrated the houses get at the edge. Or at the middle, I mean. And this is a long-ass walk. Did we ever find... I think this was probably... I was probably looking at it from the other angle, which means... Whatever I was looking at, I think was down this way, potentially? Is it down there? Yeah, because there's another very, very long one that doesn't seem to go anywhere there. I think that's what I was seeing from the camera earlier. So I would like to... Yeah, that feels very suspicious, as it were. How would I get down there? Looks like I would have to go through this house, down to the left, and then from the left I would have to leave another house. Let's try that. I was just talking about how much I loved the unreachable second floor. Yeah, that's good. That's good shit. Oh, perfect. Yes. And I do like it when they're sort of the branching path. You know, most of the houses are usually just one-to-one, which makes sense, but when you have these branching paths, I think it... Because, I mean, at the end of the day, like these... What do you call them? Fences? I mean, they're there for gameplay reasons. I mean, obviously you would have some fences, a fair number of fences even, in an actual version of this, but these exist here so the player can't just go wherever they want. They are invisible walls, very intentionally to send the player down a certain route. And I understand that purpose of them, but they do sometimes just feel kind of restrictive. So when you open it up like that, and you sort of view, even when the player doesn't really have a choice, and it just kind of feels like you're giving them a choice, it gives a lot of effectiveness. Okay, we are really far out here. This is kind of... There's no house on the horizon here. Feels like I'm gonna fucking fall off the edge here. Oh shit? Is that the door? Like, actually? Did we find it? I think we did. My intuition was on fucking spot on, huh? I was like, man, I just feel like I'm gonna fall off the edge, and here I am at the edge. I'm very interested to see what's behind this door. Not like literally behind the door, but like, what is it, like midair? Or like, is there about to be a cliffside, or what is gonna happen here? What am I looking at here? This is a wall? Huh. Oh, this is kind of like a dome. You know what? I could go through the door, but I am kind of interested to see, once the clouds come back, how those look. Because, honestly, when you're in the center, you can't tell at all. Oh, shit, the stars are... Yeah. That's cool, okay. Yeah, like, in the center, you definitely can't tell that at all. But, like, you would think if this is curved, there would be some level of... What's the word I'm looking for? Distortion, almost? Because it's... You would have to display the two-dimensional pictures on this non-Euclidean... Oh, perfect, perfect, just in time. Okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, and the sun just must be a light source on the outside, just traveling up above that. And the top doesn't have any clouds. That's so cool. That's really well done. Oh, and I love the wall having this pattern on it. Interesting. That's a very good vibe. That's a good optical illusion. That's a really good optical illusion. You cannot tell that from far away. But from up close, it's like... It almost feels like a nursery. Huh. Alright, well, what's behind this door? Oh. Another house. The window to not... Elevator. Is this the end? Huh. End of the demo. This I got through this significantly quicker than I did the previous demo. Huh. I wonder if it was significantly shorter, or I just happened to find the critical path very quickly. I can't... Part of me kind of wants to go back and see all the other stuff, but... Oh, you can't. It's a one-way. That is a one-way, as it were. Yeah, I really like the high ceilings with the very high windows. It's very nostalgic in a weird way. It shouldn't be, you know? It really shouldn't be. The houses shouldn't exist like that, but alas. And what number is that? 94. That, I believe 94 is Eternal Suburbia in the Backrooms wiki, so... And while I personally don't really care for the Backrooms wiki stuff, you know, if that was what sort of encouraged this person to make this, then more power to them. You know, chase that vision. It's a good fucking vision. We going somewhere? Oh. There it is. Spooky jump scare! No? Okay. I wasn't sure. Yeah, just because the last one, yeah, that said, oh, maybe. Well, that was quick. Wow, that was not even an hour. And I was yapping my ass off at the beginning. Oh, God. They're back! The Smileys are back! That is good. That is so much better than a monster. Yes! Thanks for playing the demo. Thanks for making the demo. That was great. I love that. It was short. I was surprised. I really thought we were going to be sitting here for a few hours. Mantra Lose, that is an ending for you for a demo. Thanks for completing the Dreamcore demo. We hope you enjoyed the experience as much as you enjoyed creating. If you'd like to, we'd really appreciate if you added the game to your Steam wish list. Already done. Your support means the world to us. Okay, alright, so that was what? That was 50 minutes minus probably like 10 minutes of me talking in the beginning, so that was about 40 minutes long. Honestly felt kind of short, but I feel like I just probably missed a bunch. I might play through it again off stream just to see if how much more stuff I can find. But also it's just a demo, right? Like I'm not complaining. And at some point, you know, it's especially with level 94, it's gonna be very samey. That's kind of the point. So it would probably get kind of sickening after a while. So I to some degree, I actually appreciate the shorter runtime. I think it is more effective. You get everything you want out of it. All right, so I need a review. Holy shit, this is bad. I was really hoping I would have more negative things to say, just for the sake of critique, but I really don't have much. Oh no, it's Peak! Oh no, it's Peak! What did you do? Why did you make Peak? You weren't supposed to make Peak! Okay, alright, well let me start. I've sort of been alluding to this throughout, because this is something I wanted to say in regards to the first demo. I spent so long yapping about it after the first one, and I really wanted to bring this back up after playing through the second thing, just to see if my general vibe was correct. And that was the vibe of, even if I know that there is no monster, and I was pretty sure there wasn't, I was 99% sure, there was that 1% in my head who was like, well, maybe, you know, maybe it was the longest con of all time. And maybe it still is, who's to say? But I was thinking, under the assumption there isn't, will it be as nerve-wracking as I was hoping? And, you know, part of this is it's not supposed to be scary, right? Like, it's supposed to be haunting, not scary. Spooky, not scary. There's a marked difference between those two. And with a monster, I may have already used this analogy, but it's like when you load up into this world, the creator has a gun loaded with one bullet pointed directly at your stomach. And they're holding that gun there. And they're like, I could shoot this at any time. And you have to play through the entire thing in anticipation of that gun going off. And that is good anticipation. I am not saying this like a freak that wants to get shot in the stomach, but I am saying this as, it's just, that is the anticipation. That is how you build that vibe. The monster showing up, getting that jump scare, is shooting that bullet. It's gonna hurt like hell. You're gonna get a reaction immediately, for sure. But after you've done it, you know, I'm eventually gonna stop feeling the pain, but that bullet is gone. You can't reuse that bullet. And at that point, there's nothing left to threaten me with. There's nothing left to make me feel concerned, because at that point it's just like, oh, okay, this is what it is, that's fine, alright, where's the next one, you know? You've lost the anticipation, you've lost your power over the player. But as long as you don't do it, you continue to hold that power forever. And maybe you'll use it, and maybe you won't. Maybe you'll play through the entire final game, and you'll get through the credits, and that anticipation will fade. And that is the ideal. That it sticks the whole way through, and you just keep the player on edge the entire time. And that is great. I love that feeling. I'm so happy this is the direction the artist went with this game. So that's one thing. Now let's talk about what's actually in the game and not what's not in the game. Eternal Suburbia, as I mentioned, I really like this aesthetic. I don't think it lends itself particularly well. As much as I love it, I don't think it lends itself particularly well to what this developer's strengths are in a lot of ways. One of the really great things about their Dream Pools demo as I've mentioned, was the architecture was really, really, really well done. And you get, with enclosed spaces, you have a lot to play around with walls and ceilings, and sort of room connections and stuff, which is something you don't really get in this very outdoorsy sort of vibe, where you do have some more contained rooms through the houses, but they're generally very small. You generally can't do too much with them. And to that point, I think this one was less engaging in that sense than the pool rooms, because it was, I guess, just a lot easier to find your way around, and you didn't really have the opportunity to flex that architectural muscle in nearly the same way, especially because you need everything to be pretty samey. All the houses, to really attain that vibe, kind of need to have a lot of the same structure, which limits what the creator can do. So to that point, I think it's kind of a rough environment for what this developer is particularly good at. I think one of their greatest strengths. But that being said, I still think, despite that, it was still successful. I hope that, I don't want to say Eternal Suburbia is the outlier, but I hope that the other levels they choose to do are generally more internal, more structured, because I think their strengths suit that more. But having this as this is, I guess, the way I would describe it. This feels like a really good palate cleanser. If the order of the levels was Dream Pools, Eternal Suburbia, let's say, I don't actually know the names of very many levels, but like a shopping mall type, like if the next level was a shopping mall type thing, a very internal thing again, and then maybe you get another sort of outdoorsy one, you get sort of, nighttime playground or something like that, and you sort of intersperse them, where for every couple of internal levels you have an outdoor level, you get that sense of fresh air. It was nice. It was definitely nice being able to structure my search, to be like, okay, there is my point of interest. I can see my point of interest, and I can generally lead myself there. That felt empowering as a player. It also meant it was significantly easier, because you don't have to constantly be building a mental map in your head. You can always sort of be double checking yourself. So I think it does work like that, but I think the majority of the levels, I'm hoping, are not outdoor, because I think it's not quite as effective. The visual design was great. Notably, I will say, I don't think Dreamcore, and this isn't really something that I think needs to be fixed, I think it's just a matter of fact, the VHS, how do you call it? The VHS filter is not the most effective one I've seen. I think there are, complex found footage comes to mind for me as, I think, probably the best visual sort of filter, the most realistic looking filter. Dreamcore is not bad by any means. I think visually it still looks very, very good, and I loved that bit at the end with sort of realizing it was a hemisphere. That was very effective, but I think it in some ways loses some of the, because obviously one of the very nice things about the low quality filter is you take off the sharp edges of the game, the things that make it very obvious that it's game geometry. You kind of lose that when you add this blurriness to it. There are things in this game that don't have that blurriness to them, like especially some of the textures. When you look closely, it's very obvious that it's a texture and not like a physical thing. So to that point, I think the visuals struggle a little bit, but I don't think that's something that really needs to be fixed. I think it's fine. I don't think it's something this developer should really be focusing their efforts on, because I think it's serviceable. I don't think it's the best, but I think for what they're trying to do, it is perfectly fine. And I think there are just so many better ways they can be spending their time. So I'm not too worried about that. Overall, and I mean, the vibes were really nice. Both Dream Pools and this, generally, like, if you're not looking too closely, look really good. I love, love, love that Eternal Suburbia picture, and sort of stepping out of that first house, even just looking out of that first window and seeing it, you're like, yes, yes, that's so good. So love that. So generally, I would say for visuals, I would say like 8 out of 10. Not the best. There are some issues. There was like that weird, like in the second house I went into, it looked like there's some no clipping from a room that wasn't there, or like a light source that wasn't supposed to be there, and that was a bit awkward. But overall pretty good. Use of shadows is very nice. Use of night and day, generally nice. I liked that the nighttime was there, but I kind of hope that if the nighttime is going to be there in the full game, we kind of already have a flashlight at that point, because it just kind of did. The vibe was great, kind of made it hard to just see things, and like it's kind of when it went to be nighttime, it's like, oh, okay, can't really look for the door right now. It's kind of just harder to see everything. It kind of felt annoying more than anything else. But I do like the nighttime, and I think it's important to keep it. Maybe make it a bit shorter potentially. But I would say for visuals, solid 8 out of 10. Not the game's strongest suit, but no slouch by any means. Sound design, similarly, I would say slightly lower, maybe like a 7. The running sound is still kind of annoying. I do think it's better from what I remember. From what I remember, it was a lot louder, and I think this is a good improvement on that. It's, the way I would put it is, it's just annoying enough to make you want to take your time and not constantly be running everywhere, which is a good thing to some degree, because I think taking your time is very valuable in this sort of game. But at the same time, I mean, if you're sort of discouraging your player from doing anything by the fact that otherwise it's going to be annoying and painful to listen to, is not great. But overall, honestly, I had a lot less issue with that. There was kind of a sameness to the grass crunching that honestly didn't really sound like grass crunching. Definitely the best aspect of the sound in this version was the what do you call them? The megaphones playing the music. That was really good, and the absence of it at night was extremely effective. I did like that. I think at nighttime you could potentially still have some noise, maybe some like cricket chirping, which would be interesting because it's like there's not actually any crickets. You don't see any crickets. There, as far as you could tell, there shouldn't be any crickets because of how, you know, it works, but you still hear them. I think that could be kind of effective. Not even super loud, maybe just like on occasion, but I think it could work. There seemed to be some like usage of sound dampening the further you were away from the megaphones. I sort of noted that at one point, and then after that it kind of became hard to tell. It definitely seems like it dampens in the houses, which is good, but outside I'm not actually 100% sure if it dampens as you get farther away. If it does, that's good. I think that's super important. Having it be sort of the same level of sound effect no matter where you are outside takes it from being something that is a part of the world to the game's music, and you don't want that. The most important thing in this game, in my opinion, is making it feel real, making it feel like you are there, because that is what this excels at. In a way, I think very, very few other games do, and I think when all is said and done, that is going to be one of Dreamcore's claims to fame, is this is a game that really makes you feel like you are in these situations. The sort of the break between the reality of you sitting at your computer and you being in this world, it feels very, very thin. And I think that's where all my criticisms come from, is anytime that feels broken. If the sound is equally loud from any place you are outside, that's one. If your textures are obviously textures, that's another one. Anytime you have clipping, something like that, those are going to be the situations that detract from this, because you are once again sort of removing the player. But that being said, those are few and far between. So those are a few things. As far as the internal architecture, I thought it was very well done. Again, I sound like a slut for architecture, how much I talk about it with this developer, but it's good. The inside of the houses, I think, matched really, really well, in that they were all samey. They were all very samey, which is what they should be, but they still had just enough uniqueness to them, either through having a second floor, how twisty they were, what the color of the ground was, what the color of the wallpaper was. There was just enough variation in the actual homes to make them feel unique. Now, I don't think it's enough in this level to help you build a mental map. I think the pool rooms level was really effective in letting you build a mental map of like, okay, this is connected to this, which is connected to this. This didn't have that. I think the interiors are still too samey to have that, but that's fine. That's not a problem in this level, specifically because you have that outdoor vision that you can sort of plan around. So I don't see that as an issue at all. I think the interiors were well done. The exteriors were well done. Anytime you had a specific, like, one house to one house, it felt a little bit restrictive, because obviously the fences are invisible walls. They're leading you down a very specific path. The more times you give the player a choice there, you give them 2 routes to go down, 2 houses to go to from a single house, the more you let it branch out, the more real it feels. And I think, honestly, and maybe this is, I would love to, at some point, see, like, a build of how everything is connected. Because I can see one really effective thing in this game being, is having concentric circles. Because that's something I feel is really difficult for a person to catch on to, especially when all the houses are so samey, is taking a person in a loop and giving them just enough off-ramps or in-ramps into the loop, into a bigger loop, that they never realize they're repeating something until, like, probably the third time they encounter it, and then they're like, wait, I just went in a circle. How did I go in a circle? How is that possible? Like, at that point, it feels like, oh, wait, are the houses warping me? Like, that gets you in that mindset of, I'm being fucked with, right? Because I've been moving in a straight line, and I somehow ended back up where I started, which shouldn't be physically possible. Just because I feel like the brain doesn't fully recognize that looping if everything feels very straight in the moment. So giving players just enough off-ramps to sort of go deeper into more outer circles would be very effective. Having most of the houses in the middle and less on the ends, I think, generally worked to sort of give you an idea of how close to the center you were, but some of those walks from the further houses were kind of long. So there is that. That's kind of, I think, I mean, I've been yapping now. Jesus, it's been like 20 minutes. I'm gonna talk about this fucking game for longer than I was playing it at this point. I think that is probably going to do it. I've yapped enough. I would say big takeaways. A, keep following the vision. It was pretty clear to me, and I'm glad I was right. The vision was kind of constrained originally, and you sort of let go of those shackles. And like I was saying, like, you know, it's gonna suck to a degree to not have, the big YouTubers, if there's no spooky thing that they can put in the thumbnail, there's nothing that they can make a reaction compilation out of, you're gonna get fewer views, you're gonna get fewer clicks, you're gonna get fewer downloads. And that sucks. That is an unfortunate reality when you're not making the most, compilation worthy thing, which I don't think this is, you're gonna have a niche audience. And I hate to be the person to say, hey, fuck money and do it for what you love, because I recognize that is not a realistic thing to say. But this works so much better when it's not that. You're not going to have those reactions. You're not going to have those compilations. You're going to get fewer clicks. But when this phase dies down, and we are seeing it, there's so much less new Backrooms content on the web in December 2024 than there was in June 2024. I mean, the drop-off has been massive, and it has been completely expected. This happens with every internet fad. But there are certain games that we remember from every genre because they have a soul. They perfectly encapsulate a certain vision or time period or thought or idea. And this is that. When people, what I want from this game, and I think this is what the developer wants from this game. 5 years from now, if somebody gets super into liminal spaces, they're like, oh wow, this is a type of, artwork or aesthetic that I didn't know I liked. Man, it sure would be cool if there was like a 3D representation of these things that I could walk around in. This is what you point them towards. You say, this is exactly what you're looking for. This is liminal art in a 3D space as 3D models. There is no game here. This is not a game. This is it's a piece, right? It's a piece of art. It is the same thing that you're seeing in those two-dimensional pictures, except you can walk around in it and you can experience it yourself. And that is what I believe this game is going to become when it comes out. It's going to become a simulator, almost, right? It's going to be a 3D liminal space simulator. So to that point, I think that is what the creator should shoot for, or at least that's what I hope they shoot for, because that's what I really want to see from it, and that's what I think it would do best. I'm really excited to see where this goes. I have been following this since I played the last demo. When I saw the announcement that the next thing was Eternal Suburbia, I was like, holy shit, yes, I love that one. That's always been one that I've wanted to walk around in. I want to go inside those houses. I mean, we started the demo and I saw the water tower and I'm like, fuck it, I need to go to the water tower. I've always wanted to know what's under that water tower. And there was something there. It was great. Oh, I loved it. So that's really what I think. Like, I think one of the best examples off the top of my head that I can think of games that are similar to this is the Stanley Parable. The Stanley Parable was not the first game or the first piece of media to ever use meta humor or sort of that deconstruction of narrative tropes. But it's the most famous version of that because it took that idea and it grew it out as much as possible. And I feel like at this point, if you ever have someone who is like looking for sort of that deconstruction of those tropes, you point them towards the Stanley Parable because it's such a shining example of how far you can take that concept, how comedic you can make it, how much you can sort of how like what the limits of that is. And I think this game really is like, it feels to me like the Stanley Parable of experiencing liminal space, where and obviously Stanley Parable was a commercial success. It's very funny. It's very well done. And even if this doesn't see that much commercial success, I guess Oberdin is another example. I don't need to get into this. This is pointless. But basically, I think it's going to be very good for that. I think it's going to be very good for letting people experience those liminal spaces in a way that really isn't covered that many places on the market. There are a few. There are a couple, but all of them have some kind of pitfall. And this will have its pitfalls too, but despite that, I think it has mad potential. So, is it Montreluz? I hope I didn't get that wrong. Hopefully it's Montreluz. Great fucking work. This is really good. I'm really excited for what's next. Keep at it. Follow that vision. It has been working so far. And I will be here for the next one. And I hope, if by any chance the dev is watching this one again, by my lucky stars, I hope this long-winded explanation, not explanation even, just critique was helpful. And I hope I hope what it does is I hope it continues pushing you forward down this same path. Because it's a good path. And there are a couple of things, but really, kind of my downsides are generally not things I think you need to worry about. I think the main thing that you, like, could use some work in some places and just something to keep attention to is making sure you maintain the immersion. The immersion is key here, and there are a couple of places where it sort of breaks. And that is the only thing that you really need to focus on. Otherwise, keep playing to your strengths, because there's some good fucking strengths. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. I genuinely think I talked about the game more than I actually played it at this point. Have a good night. Love you. Can't wait to play more Dreamcore. Yeah, it's going to be great. I think the game's coming out like early next year, which is crazy to me. Which means there's a lot more done besides this. So looking forward to that. Good night. Bye.